In fact, this video could have been titled, "You're Dumber Than You Think." But let's be honest, most proud idiots would never click on something like that. So we have to use tricks. The human brain is the most complex, highly organized structure in the universe, and yet, in modern reality, it's hopelessly outdated. Not long ago, well, relatively speaking, a few thousand years ago, it was possible for a person to possess almost all the knowledge available to humanity. Not because ancient people were geniuses, but because there simply wasn't much to know. No microbiology, no quantum physics, no higher mathematics. New discoveries were so rare that many people lived their entire lives without adding a single new piece to their mental picture of the world. Those times are long gone. Today, the pace of scientific and technological progress is so extreme that entire scientific journals drown in new discoveries every single day. And yes, even René Descartes was, in some sense, an idiot. At least parts of his meditations read today like children's scribbles, but compared to his contemporaries, he was vastly smarter, and his contribution to human thought is impossible to overestimate. There are many things in his work that are very hard to argue with. For example, the famous statement, "Cogito, ergo sum." And yet, about 95% of people, when asked what thinking actually is, will respond with vague, incoherent noises. From a psychological perspective, thinking is a process of cognitive activity whose essence lies in accumulating, organizing, and indirectly reflecting reality. All IQ tests are mostly useless, because intelligence is not a single value. It's a manifestation of multiple cognitive systems, each with its own limits and capacities. You'd have to be completely incompetent to reduce all of that to one number. The main criterion that defines you as a rational being is how you think, how coherent and complete the picture of reality in your head actually is. There's an interesting quote by Krieger. "Man is a product of the universe's directed evolution, aimed at self-comprehension." Pause the video if you want. Let that idea sink in. Tabula rasa is the thesis that a human is born without pre-installed mental content. As children, through sensory experience, we desperately fill that empty canvas. We explore. We ask a million questions. We stick our fingers into power sockets. That's how we learn. But then, something breaks. With age, curiosity is replaced by a pathological sense of informational satisfaction. And the problem isn't that most people can't explain why the sky is blue or why seasons change. The real problem is grown adults who read horoscopes in the morning, parents who refuse to vaccinate their children, people who reject modern medicine. Who do you have to be, with direct access to all human knowledge in your pocket, to build your worldview on ideas that can be dismantled in 2 minutes by simply Googling and reading carefully? And every time I hear the claim that humans use only 10% of their brain, I start believing it. At least when it comes to about 95% of the population. I'll repeat this because it matters. One of the most important components of intelligence is your ability to build an accurate picture of the world and reflect it as objectively as possible. Even though the human brain could theoretically store more than 250,000 standard books, no single mind can absorb and systematize all existing knowledge within one lifetime. Even immortality wouldn't solve that. And no, people don't actually want to live forever. But that's a topic for another video. Humans are dumber than they think, not only for these reasons. Now I'm going to say things that might sound uncomfortable, but most idiots clicked away as soon as they heard Descartes. So we're fine. The brain has fundamental cognitive limitations, 3 primitive distortions in particular. First, the feeling of knowing, an error in how accurately we believe we can retrieve knowledge. Second, the illusion of knowledge, a cognitive bias where people overestimate their understanding. Every parent encounters it when they suddenly realize they can't answer their child's simple questions. And third, my favorite, the Dunning-Kruger effect. A bias where people with low competence tend to vastly overestimate their abilities. Yes, that's why loud, confident mediocrity exists, and why truly capable people often stay silent, trapped in doubt and self-criticism. Yes, people are dumber than they think, but don't panic. To be smarter than 95% of the population, You don't need to know everything. You just need to use Descartes' method. Strip away everything imposed on you since childhood and build your own picture of reality, manually, honestly, objectively, by answering fundamental ontological questions without lying to yourself. Because until you do that, you'll live under the rule of authorities, popular opinion, social paradigms, and the natural limitations of human perception. Don't be part of the majority.